What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today I thought I'd give you guys my initial thoughts on the latest update, which was the Siege of Kamino update, since there were obviously a fair few changes made compared to some of the other recent patches. In terms of content, there wasn't really a whole lot, but with the HVV changes and a heap of hero changes, plus obviously Kamino being added as well, I thought it was worth going over it all and giving you guys my initial thoughts. So getting straight into it, and I'm going to start off with Kamino, since that's pretty much the only content that was in this patch, and I'm not going to lie, my initial thoughts were that I didn't really like it that much. The first two games I played weren't very enjoyable, but I gave it the benefit of the doubt and played maybe 2 or 3 more games, and I actually really enjoyed it. I think the main reason I wasn't a fan at first was because of how open the outside section is and how hard it can be to actually push into those command posts if you haven't got any teammates with you. But I think after learning the map a little more and figuring out where most of that traffic happens, it definitely did help me enjoy it a little more than I did at first. Now, in saying that, it is still just the same map as the GA version, so I'm not going to sit here and give massive praise to DICE since we've already been playing this map since November of 2017, but overall I'm fairly happy with it, and at the end of the day I guess more maps for CS is always a good thing, so overall I'm relatively happy with Kamino. What I do really like about it is I think it's on the D flag on that landing pad in the outside area. I really like how they use that destroyed trident droid, which is the big like drill droid thing. I really like how they kind of use that to not only cover half of the command post, but also how they made ramps onto the platform using its, I guess you'd call them legs or tentacles, I'm not really sure, but that's one thing I do really like, how they've added that for at least a little bit of variety. So I am happy with Kamino overall. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my god, this is amazing, because it is just a slight variation of the original map, but at the end of the day, more maps for CS will always be welcome, so I definitely can't say that I'm disappointed. Now, moving on to the HVV rework, which was probably the biggest part of this update, I'd say, and to be honest, I'm actually not too sure how I feel about it so far. I think it's probably a slight improvement over the target system, but honestly for me, it's still probably my least favourite mode in the whole game, and at this point, I just don't know if I can ever enjoy it, no matter how much they change it up. As of recording this, is currently only 25 kills to win, but Ben has confirmed that it'll be getting changed to 50 kills by the time this video goes up, and then it will actually be changed down to 35 after the weekend, as I think they just want to see which number works the best. Now, my issue with HVV isn't really to do with the new system, so I'm not going to really fault it too much, but in saying that, I don't think these changes are going to make any improvements to the frustrations that most people have with the game mode. If you're playing with a squad, then you're probably going to win 99 games out of 100, and if anything, these changes are just going to make it even harder to beat a full squad, because at least with the target system, you could manage to sneak a few target kills and keep the score somewhat close, but with this system, if you're doing really well but your teammates suck, then you're pretty much guaranteed to lose anyway. It has definitely removed the issue of Boba or Luke runners, but at the same time it has added its own issues too, one being what I just mentioned, and then 2 being the fact that you're always visible on the minimap, which I think is a pretty dumb mechanic, especially with the way that it works now, so like I said, I'm really not too sure how I feel about it. I'm not a huge HVV player anyway, so to be honest, the changes don't really affect me much, but if you are a regular HVV player, then let me know of your thoughts down below, because I would love to hear how you guys feel about the new system. So that's it for sort of the biggest stuff from the update. Now we're going to move on to the hero changes, since there were quite a few. First off, I loved the Boba changes so far. I'm not going to lie, I was pretty nervous that he'd actually be overpowered, because I thought he was already a beast before these changes, but I have to say I think he's gotten better, yet not too much better to where it's a problem. I do think maybe they should make it take longer for him to actually recover his jetpack after he's been knocked out of the sky, but I don't think it's too much of an issue at all, at least not yet anyway, as it is obviously still very early days. I think his health increase is perfect, 600 is exactly where it should be, and hopefully they don't mess around with it too much from now on. I do also think that since all the other blaster heroes got health regen increases from 150 to 200, Boba should get the same treatment as well, but in saying that, he does also have the advantage of a jetpack, so I guess 150 isn't too bad, but it just makes sense to make them all 200 in my opinion. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the Boba changes, and hopefully they don't mess around with my boy too much more, because I think he's really balanced how he is, and I just don't want him to end up too strong or too weak, so let's hope he stays how he is. Now, we did also get a slight buff for Luke, nothing major, just a 10 damage increase to his saber attacks, but he did also get some animation changes on his force push and repulse abilities, and they have made him a little smoother and a little faster to use. So yeah, nothing too major here, but I am happy with that, as I think Luke is a good character that just needs some very small tweaks to get him where he should be, and I think these changes are definitely putting him in the right direction. Yoda also saw some changes. One was to his sprint speed to actually make him the same speed as most other characters, which I really like, but the other was to actually change back his dash attack so that he can actually break blocks again. In my opinion, this has made him pretty damn OP in Heroes vs Villains. Now that he actually has a block himself, plus he can also break blocks, I think that makes him a little too powerful in HVV, because he was already a beast and now you can't really defend yourself against him, at least not as easily as most other characters. I definitely don't think he's broken or anything anything like that, but I think maybe they could remove the breaking block feature and it wouldn't hurt, so we'll just have to see how the rest of the community reacts to his changes. Vader did also get a buff in this patch as well. His health regen delay was decreased, meaning he'll pretty much just start healing faster than he used to. His force choke now allows him 90% damage reduction, which is an absolute game changer, and he did also get his saber damage increased by 10 as well. These are the kinds of changes that I think a lot of heroes need. None of this makes him way more powerful or anything like that, but it just makes them a little bit more viable and less likely to die in frustrating ways. So I'm definitely happy with the Vader buff, and he's quickly becoming one of my favourite saber characters again. Obi-Wan's mind trick also got a buff. Honestly, I think this wasn't really necessary, as that ability is already a death sentence to any blaster villain in the game. So I'm not going to lie, I'm not too happy about this one, mainly in HVV though, which like I said, I don't really play much of anyway, but yeah, I just think this change was kind of unnecessary. If they wanted to give him a buff, I think they should focus on his weaker areas rather than just buffing something that's already borderline OP. Other than that, there were really just a bunch of tiny bug fixes, as well as Han, Lando and Iden getting health regen increases too, so nothing else really worth covering. So overall, I'd say I'm pleased with the update. It did feel a little underwhelming if I'm going to be honest, but I do also need to keep in mind that we are going to be getting some really big news hopefully at EA Play in just 2 weeks from today. So even though this update wasn't the best we've had, there is still big news around the corner, or at least I hope so anyway. So that is going to be it for this one, guys. Let me know down below if you've been enjoying the update so far, as I'm very curious to see how everyone else feels. If you are new to the channel, then feel free to subscribe and turn on your notifications so you don't miss out on any more Battlefront 2 videos or live streams. Thank you all so much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.